Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Index Office Hours. Today is the 29th of April, and this is Index Office Hours 205. For all of those who are new to Index Office Hours, this is the town square where graph ecosystem participants come together and discuss the most important and relevant topics for indexers. You know what I'm going to say next. This is something I always say. This is a conversation, in particular today's conversation, and we do love participation. So feel free to get involved in today's chat. If you're having any challenges with the audio, do let me know, and I'll get that sorted for you, just how we got that sorted for Joseph. And then if you'd like to get involved in today's conversation, feel free to do so via the chat function on the side there. All right, that is... Oh, of course, how can I forget? As a reminder, this is a session that's going to be recorded and posted onto public channels like YouTube. So if you are concerned about privacy, please bear that in mind. As you can see, Pili is recording, so yeah, just bear that in mind. And with that, I'm going to be handing over to our new host of Repo Watch, Carlos. So without further ado, Carlos, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. And as Anna says, I'm going to be taking over going forward the Repo Watch. So let's start. It's going to be a very short one this time. Hi, Kate. It's going to be a very short one, but I'm just going to start by a small errata from last one, where Anna had mentioned Aragon update to 3.0.3. That was a small mistake. It was 3.0.2. And also take the chance to mention some piece of news, which is not that fresh, but I don't think it's been mentioned before. 𝗨𝘀𝗲 testnet is going to be discontinued. It's going to be sunset, and it's expected to be sunset by the end of September. And this is happening as an aftermath of some failures encountering doing vector testing. And as such, there's a new testnet that will take its place. It's called 𝗨𝘀𝗲, and it's already generally available on the latest versions of most execution layers or consensus layer clients. Yes, so long. So for today's update, and first let me apologize that I haven't updated the notes on the agenda yet, but I will do so after this bit. But given it's short, it will be okay. We have a hotfix for Nimbus. This is a critical upgrade, 24.4.1. So 24.4 already, 25.4 already support vector. Some issues have been encountered, and you should update as soon as possible to this one. As a reminder, vector is expected to go live on the 7th of May, so there's no longer that much time left. There's a new Arbitrum Nitro release, 3.6.0, which introduces vector features. This, I think, was released just yesterday, so it's very new. You should also be looking to update this before the 7th of May. And for those running Firehose, Streaming Fast is already updated to the latest Git versions, and there's new tags available for Firehose Ethereum, now based on Git 1.15.9, and I expect that 10 will follow very shortly, and that will provide vector support as well. So we should update before the end of the first week of May. And a last one, which is less urgent, is a new minor patch version for Git, 1.15.10, which has a few fixes. There's a caveat here. This one is not very urgent unless you're running Git as an archive node or you're using the Beacon Chain Light client. If that's your case, then you may be wanting to look to update this one as soon as possible. But I don't think that is very popular. And for this week, that's it. So any questions, please follow up. I'll update the nodes like I said, and I'll now hand over to Juan.
Thanks, Carlos. Okay, starting with Protocol Watch, we have business covers, starting with governance. We have some updates to the latest disputes. That includes dispute 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. 33 and 34 have been resolved as a draw, as far as I remember, and the 3 remaining are still open, and we're still trying to investigate based on the situation. Thankfully, all of those disputes have been quite cooperative in the investigation, so that's always good to see. For forum research, we don't have any new updates since last 𝗨𝘀𝗀. For the contracts repository, we have a few chores and fixes, mainly related to the latest round of audits for Horizon. So if you're interested in any of those are all linked in the agenda. And we don't have anything new for the network subgraphs, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna be handing over to the podcast now for Project Watch.
Which Paka? I think that's you. I did feel the
whichever feels like it should be next, I guess.
I did feel the need to say that we're spouses and not siblings. I don't know if anybody wondered about that. I can give an update about the CIP. And where we're at with that. So again, thank you all for your work on helping support the upgrade indexer. Again, we are continuing our POI investigation into Chapel and Sepolia. And I did want to share a broader update, which will be officially announced probably this week or next week. And it is in line with a lot of the things that we've been talking about regarding the CIP. But moving forward, after we finish this last bit of chains that we're working on currently, our standards for what chains will be eligible to go through the CIP and therefore have the potential of getting indexing rewards have shifted. And we will be taking just a tighter approach and looking more at adoption and query volume as we consider which chains we want to move towards indexing rewards. So after we move through these last 3 chains that we currently have, as we move forward, that will be what we're thinking about in that regard. Let me just take a look here and see. And so I know that's sort of a broad statement at this point. I think there will be more conversations to come that dig in a little bit further. But I think the basic idea is that there will just be a more selective process for who gets to go through the CIP and eventually gets indexing rewards moving forward. So I wanted to let you guys know before we announce it publicly. Again, I think it's in line with many of the conversations that have been had over the months. But feel free if you have any questions about it. Like I said, I think it'll be a broader conversation, and we can get into more details as we move forward. But just wanted to let you guys know, if you see that pop up on the forum, that's what we're looking at. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ping me in the chat. I can't answer every single thing. It looks like no one's too worried about it. Paka squared, we could do Paka squared. Alex, you're gonna have to talk. Do you want to share?
Just to take it away from Kate, sharing a graph note release in case you missed it, put it in the comment, and we're kicking off work to remove graph man drop based off of demands from people. So keep posted, and we'll have more to share probably next week about that. Yeah, thanks. That's all I have.
Got it. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Shout if there's anything else that you guys want to cover off, but I think that should be everything in terms of all the sections there, right? Okay. So it seems like we're getting some chat here from Marc Andre saying v0.38.0 is working great. fixed several subgraphs for me. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, great. So now we have the good fortune of having Joseph, Joseph from Semiotic Labs. So I'm sure everyone knows a bit about what Semiotic Labs does. But it's always great to get updates from the team. They've been working very, very hard on trying to improve the graph ecosystem via the various initiatives that they're working on. And so today will be a conversation with Joseph about that. 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗟𝗶, if you didn't know, in the chat there. And so yeah, I'll leave it to you, Joseph, to introduce yourself and bring us into some of the topics we're going to cover in today's chat.
Thanks so much, Abel, and thanks for having me. Yeah, so I mean, this was inspired by kind of last week. I've been lurking in IOH now since the beginning of March. Well, sort of, I guess, end of February, beginning of March, which is when kind of the last team members that were kind of running 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 and the work on Index.RS, they announced they were leaving, and so there was this kind of leadership change in that team, and I got moved over. So thank you. Yeah, so I've been lurking around and learning about the community, trying to kind of listen out for signs of things that we need to be doing and looking out for. And then last week, I think it was 𝗀𝗲was asking some questions, and I kind of put myself forward to say, hey, like, we're here, like, you can reach out to us. So before I kind of go into what I want to say about the team and what we're doing, just a bit about me. I joined Semiotic Labs almost exactly a year ago. I've been working as a Rust backend engineer for sort of last 3 years. But it's been kind of working at Semiotic Labs has been where I've really got into Web3, and it's been awesome learning about the graph. And it's also been awesome to meet a lot of you in Spain last year as well. Before I was a software engineer, just kind of some trivia. I have a background in social sciences. I have a PhD in social anthropology. And I've lived in China, I've lived in Russia, I've lived in Ukraine, and I speak the languages of all those places. And it was through friends that I got into software engineering and fell in love with that. So with the 𝗨𝗂𝗧, so working on TAP and working on the indexer service and TAP agent, right, parts of the stack that you guys are working with. As I said, we've had a transition in the team, and I was kind of just thrown from working on other areas of what Semiotic Labs done. I was mainly working on our verifiability work. I was made the lead on this project to kind of manage people leaving and people being brought on. And I really focused on 2 things doing this. One has been hiring. We've hired 2 really good Rust engineers who will be focusing on Index.RS and on 𝗨𝗂𝗧. As I said, like, interviewing is hard, hiring is hard. I got to learn that, but I think we made 2 really great decisions. And if you've been following the progress in, especially in Index.RS, you might have seen some of that, but I'm going to drop a couple links in a second so that you can check that out for yourselves. So in addition to hiring, the main thing that I was struck by was kind of like, well, I'm new to this project. I'm trying to learn about it. How do I test it? And I realized, like, we don't have enough infrastructure for testing locally. Well, locally or in our CI pipeline either. And that's what so when we brought on these 2 new engineers, that's what I challenged them to do, was that Edge and Node, they have a tool called Local Network, which has mainly been developed by Theo, but other members of their team have taken on that as well. For example, you can look at the smart contracts team led by Tomas. Like, he has a branch on there for Horizon. So I was interested in that and how we could use that. And so I challenged our new teammates to start working with that. And we've, so one thing that I'm going to just share a PR here in the chat. This is some work that was done to use that local testnet that Edge and Node had developed for our purposes of locally testing indexer service and TAP agent, how that and the creation of RAVs and how that's all working. So if you're more technical, if you want to look at how we're doing that, it would be great to get your feedback. But it's also some pretty cool use of that. It's great how you can get all of the different components of the graph stack up and running. So that's something I wanted to share. Also, another thing is we've had some great interactions in the GitHub issues, and I want to encourage all of you to start, if you have questions, if you have things that you're finding, anything, right, please share that early there. So I wanted to share here a big shout out to Sun Tzu who reached out with an issue. and Nathan, Nathaniel, right, one of our new engineers, they were able to collaborate on getting information, and they were able to resolve the problem. So that's just an example of what we really want to be doing for you guys. And so please use GitHub as a central place where we can have issues logged so that they're available for you to see them as well, right? If in case anyone else is facing the same kind of problem. And then finally, again, I'm giving lots of shout outs to my colleague Nathaniel here, or maybe, and this is another thing that he's been doing recently, which is adding profiling support. So again, with the more infrastructure for testing locally, that allows us to start doing other things than simply testing whether things are working properly, but how do they work under load? How can we experiment with that? And again, I know that there are a lot of very technical, experienced people in this group. If you have comments or feedback about A, how we're doing it, but B, how maybe you could use it, please reach out. We'd love to hear that. So that's kind of it for the team update there. In terms of where to find us, who to contact, I suggest, I'm going to be here, so you can reach out to me. There's, as I suggested, like GitHub issues, and doing it that way I think is also great. I would also be interested, a question from me is kind of, are there other places that I should be checking to see indexer related chat? Is there anything else I should be checking other than just being here? And that's kind of it. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here, that we're kind of listening, and that's how we're trying to run the team now. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Unfortunately, I have a hard out at 5:30. But yeah, thank you very much for having me here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for going into detail there, Joseph, with all of the updates as it relates to semiotic. And a shout out to your colleague, Nathaniel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. We've got Mark Andre just typing in the chat here, so we'll just pause in case he's got a question. Thank you for the overview. Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. So it would be great to hear a bit more about let's see. So I've got a bunch of notes here. Forgive me if we've covered this, but the AI-driven spam NFT detection for the token API, is that something that you've covered there?
Okay, so other stuff that Semiotic Labs is working. Can we just, are there any other questions just about the Graph Tally tap sort of index RS stuff before we move on to Semiotic Labs? Just while I'm here, if there are any questions in the chat, I'll look out for them. But yeah, so Semiotic Labs elsewhere. So it's, we're still trying to contribute in our areas of expertise, right, which are AI and cryptography. So there's definitely been, since I've been with the company over the past year, right, there's been some pivoting both at the level of the graph, right, in terms of strategy and what different teams are doing, and also in terms of what we've been doing at the semiotic level in deciding what to focus on. As I mentioned before, my main efforts as an engineer were mainly on the verifiability stuff, where we developed a library for essentially verifying Ethereum block data, as well as beacon block data. So doing that for pre-merge and post-merge Ethereum blocks. Big shout out to Pinax, because we used their RPCs, which are amazing for reading the data a lot. So now that verifiability work, as I understand it, right, some of the big interesting upgrades that are going to be happening to the graph are in the area of how you extract data from how you do sort of ETL queries on the graph, right? And there are going to be some interesting upgrades to that. And so Semiotic are in discussions with Edge and Node, and it's our cryptography team leading those efforts to be part of that and to contribute to that stack as we can, using what we've kind of discovered in the research on verifying block data. And I know that the research on block data and verifying is extending to Arbitrum, it's extending to Solana as well, and things like that. And then you asked about NFT spam detection. That's the AI team. So there are kind of some interesting initiatives there. There's several projects, I think, that I can think of at least. So one is, so Pinax have this awesome token API. I've been playing around with it and trying to see what I can get agents to do with it. And I think that the idea is to use AI to detect spam NFTs and somehow increase the quality of the service that way. I've actually not been involved with that, so I'm not the person to ask, but it sounds really cool. And then as far as the graph is concerned, I know that there is an idea to kind of improve the UX of the graph, and I think like staking for stakers as well, because I think what they want to do is essentially have some kind of AI chat interface for the graph, but not just simply like kind of Q&A, FAQ kind of stuff, but like how do you like make it easier for people to choose indexes, for example. So I believe that is the idea, is to use AI to enhance that. And that project has really just got started, so that's kind of all I've got to say about it.
Some alpha there. That's amazing. So Matthew's just posted a bit more context, and I've also posted a link to Token API so people can go check out that there. That's awesome. Fantastic. Thanks for providing some more context there on the spam and NFT detection there. And you mentioned a bit about the enhancing the UX there, which is great. That's another thing I wanted to cover off with you. I wonder, have we covered the ELTQ stuff yet? I wonder if that's something that we've covered.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's what. Sorry, I'm probably talking too quickly. Yeah, so that is. I don't want to get into too much detail because it's not for me to sort of announce this kind of stuff or talk about it. And because Semiotic Labs is not really the leader of a lot of that work, but as I understand it, enhancing how you can extract data, right? How we can transform it, load it, and obviously how you can do that as a user querying the data is going to be a big focus. And there are big like exciting things happening in that area. And because and what I'm getting from I guess like the most recent feeling that's come since the engineering leaders have met in Chicago is that there's a real focus on collaboration between the teams and forming a team out of these teams, right? And so I'm really excited that the verifiability team, right, at Semiotic, right, which is led by the cryptography team, are going to be able to use what they've been doing to improve, to contribute to that project. So that's what I was referring to there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for providing context there. We've only got Joseph for a few more minutes, so let's fire off some final questions before he's got to run. So if anyone does have any questions, feel free to post in the chat there, or come off mute and we can try and get those questions answered for you. Any questions? Any thoughts? And just to give extra context here, I know that in the past, indexers have mentioned in various feedback sessions that it'd be great to have a tighter loop between the index community IOH, the regular meetings that we're having here, and all the activities that are going on amongst the core developers. So this is kind of one step in that direction. So I wanted to give Joseph and the Semiotic team to come an opportunity to come and share a bit about that, especially given the fact that like a lot of things have changed at not only the macro level with the overall graph ecosystem and the strategy direction, but also internally at Semiotic as well. So yeah, that was really good. Okay, we've got Marc-Andre typing here, so maybe there's a question coming. I'll make space for that.
Okay, I'll stop typing. I was just going to say that, more core dev and indexer communication is always a good thing. And I invite Jonathan and the others to hang out with us in the Hash Indexer channel. We're always there. So if you want to lurk somewhere and see what's the current, attitude or how indexes are thinking, I think that's the place.
Amazing.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Oops, sorry.
I was just saying thank you, and that's the Indexers Delegators channel, right? Which could you just confirm which chat you mean? Sorry, just to make sure I know. It says no access.
Indexers. Yeah, you don't have access. You probably need the indexer role or something.
Funny. Okay, I'll look that up. Thank you. I'll check that out. I've got to go now, everyone. I'm sorry to rush off, but thanks so much for having me. And yeah, you know who to reach out to now if anything. And yeah, I'll be back next week as well.
Thank you, sir. Really do appreciate you coming along and for joining us every single week. We see that you're very consistent, and yeah, appreciate you coming along. All right, have fun, and we'll see you again same time next week.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye. All righty, fantastic. Now we are going to move on into a conversation about a topic that we've spoken about at IOH before, but would like to revisit. And we have the great Matthew with us to help us navigate the topic, and that is Firehose. And he's kindly offered to share more information about Firehose. He's obviously someone who's very familiar. But obviously, we'd like to tailor that to whatever you guys are dealing with in terms of challenges as it relates to Firehose. So we thought it'd be a good idea, and in fact, I can even pull up a whiteboard if that's a useful tool here, to collate some thoughts from you guys in terms of the challenges you're facing with Firehose, and maybe start to have a bit of an open discussion. I'm just going to go ahead and start a new board here, if that's a useful tool to facilitate this conversation. So I'm just going to call it Firehose. There you go. So if you navigate to the hamburger menu, you should be able to see the Firehose document. I see a couple of people in IOH 198. And yeah, people have moved over into Firehose, which is great. So yeah, I just want to make this space available in case people feel more comfortable writing stuff down. Yeah, like, what are people facing in the way of challenges with Firehose, and what kinds of discussions would you like to see at IOH? Maybe we can have a discussion here now, or perhaps if it's a deeper topic, then we can shelve it so that we can bring it back for a future IOH. So yeah, guys, shoot away. Let me know your thoughts, or let Matthew and I know your thoughts, and we can take it from there.
No questions. They're all experts. Awesome.
No, I think maybe people are shy, or perhaps maybe people haven't used Firehose lately. There must be some questions. There must be some questions. Amazing. Carlos, any thoughts, questions? Keen to hear them. I don't think I can hear Carlos.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about the push to talk.
All good, all good.
I was just saying, it's not been like I already started playing with Firehose kind of long ago, so that's maybe why I'm not seeing blockers at this point. It's already been quite acclimated with it. Thoughts would be I actually quite like it a lot. I think it's a great piece of software. But actually, off the top of my mind right now, I don't really see much in the way of blockers.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. We've got a question here in the whiteboard section, which goes as follows: Firehose performance versus Op Wreath. Noticed Op Wreath was faster than Firehose. Full stop. am I the only one? And then there's a base here related to that question. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure. Hopefully I've pronounced 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 as correctly and how other people would pronounce it. But yeah, Matthew, any thoughts?
Usually I say 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧, or 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧. I don't. Is it wreath or reth? We had the discussion before. 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧. So
Yeah.
I think wreath is. I know when it's syncing blocks historically, it's much faster than like 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧, for example. 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 just executes one block at a time and is really, really slow on base. So I don't have a specific any benchmarks on Firehose versus 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧. I don't know. We have both running on base, but I didn't actually check any benchmarks between the two. So
Yeah,
it's an
it's
interesting question.
Yeah, it's something I noticed recently. I was using the combination of get with Firehose to ingest blocks for base, and that was working pretty well, much better than Aragon, obviously. But then I switched to 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧 or 𝗨𝗂𝗂𝗧, and I noticed the block was coming a couple tens of milliseconds faster, bypassing Firehose. And I was wondering if it's just something unique on my setup, or that's something anyone else noticed. And if it's the real effect, then maybe we should consider porting Firehose to Reth or something.
I can ask. I don't think Jonathan is here from my team, but I can ask him to check to see which one seems to slightly faster. Everything is monitored, so we can see if the monitoring picks up those differences. I mean, typically with Geth versus Aragon, like not on base, like we're talking about Polygon, BSC, other chains. Geth Firehose is faster than Aragon because people. Oh, Jonathan is here. People may have noticed, sometimes Graph Node complains that it can't find a block because it's sent from Firehose and then it does a ETH call to Aragon and it can't find it, right? Because Geth Firehose is slightly ahead of Aragon. So yeah, but I haven't tried with that metric with base. So I don't. Maybe John has some comments, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, the question is not about sync speed. The question is once they're live, is one slightly ahead of the other one? So
yeah, when there's a 250 millisecond block time, every millisecond makes a difference. So yeah, that's why it looked important there.
yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting because watching some recent discussions, we can see people are starting to use Firehose or substreams for real-time use cases, and when there's an extra 10 milliseconds delay, that makes a difference. So typically when you're doing subgraphs, there's always more delays in there anyway. But if you're trying to do real-time trading or something, 10 milliseconds makes a big difference. So, but yeah, I think we could take this one as a research thing and get back to you. I think that's an interesting question. As to porting Firehose to Wreath, I have no comments on this because that's a streaming fast question.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I can follow up on that as well. Just to test, Jonathan, do you want to try? I've given you some rights there to hop on the mic if you're up for it. Do you want to try testing your mic just to see if it's working? You might want to check.
Jonathan likes to type. Jonathan likes to
Oh,
type.
okay. Fair enough. Okay, let's have a look at the whiteboard again. Just gonna hop back in here. Okay. Any further thoughts, questions? Also, feel free to riff a little bit, Matthew. Maybe that will give people some something to chew on. Maybe you've got some thoughts in your head about things you want to bring to IOH, and then maybe people could say, if they'd like to see more of that, hear more of that, etc., etc. Oh yeah, no worries, Jonathan. Sorry for putting you on the spot there. Yeah, typing is just fine as well. Yeah, so maybe Matthew, you want to riff a little bit just to give people something to chew on, and maybe that will spark up some questions, thoughts that people can share.
Don't have too much to share. I mean,
more so just like what yeah, I should probably give you something to chew on as well. Just more so, what are your thoughts on things that you would like to bring to IOH? And then maybe that could be a good opportunity to gather feedback from folks and see if this is something people would like to hear. I mean, we've got one thing here that we could use as a research topic to go away with and come back to, which is this fire hose performance as relates to 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗪. But yeah, like maybe you have some ideas about stuff you want to bring to IOH in terms of fire hose, and might be a good opportunity to check that with the index community.
it's Wreath.
Wreath, sorry. OP Wreath. Is that the correct pronunciation? OP Wreath. Damn it. They make it so hard.
We need more naming discussions, or pronunciation discussion. Okay, Wreath. Okay. No, I mean, well, I mean, Firehose, it works on lots of chains. You know, obviously we're running it on like things like Solana, or you know, like a simple chain like Hoodie. It works for both. I guess the you know, I don't have too much to say. I mean, we've gone through how to do a basic setup. If people want to know more tips and tricks on tuning different things, we could go through a bunch of the configuration options if people are interested in that. We recently did scaling substreams tier 2. So if there's any more questions on that in terms of, you know, architecture or things. Not sure if people want to discuss Firehose Helm charts. I think that's, you know, something that CJ was looking at previously, as well as Vince from my team. So, you know, so that's a couple of options. You know, Firehose does work on bare metal, LXC, container, Docker, or Kubernetes, any of those. If there's more questions about how we have things set up in our infrastructure in terms of scaling, happy to answer questions about that. So, you know, I don't know. We have Firehose running for I don't know how many chains, like 50 chains or something. So it's quite a lot. So I can probably answer most questions. That's it. I don't have any other major ideas.
Amazing. What do people think about some of the stuff there that Matthew was mentioning? Very keen to hear your perspectives on that, because this is the whole purpose of this section of today's IOH conversation, is to start to solicit some ideas that could be that we could potentially you know, delve into at a later date, because obviously we can put together content, but the main thing is to make sure that it's tailored for you guys and you guys feel like you're getting value from it. So yeah, if you guys do have anything as it relates to Firehose, then this is the opportunity. This is the prime time to voice that, and then we'll incorporate that into future planning sessions. In the meantime, while you guys have a think about questions, we've got another one just come through onto the whiteboard here, which says, "What's the plan for Solana? How do we initially sync?" So yeah, maybe you want to address that, Matthew.
Yeah, the way to initially sync Solana is to find another Firehose provider and get data from them, because syncing, like Solana does not have the concept of an archive node. You cannot just start from Genesis and sync Solana forward. It just doesn't work. So the easiest way to, you know, get started with Solana is set up a Solana validator, like validator node. It's not really a it's not doing validation, but it's the same kind of setup. So then you're getting the live blocks, and then ask somebody else to give you the historical blocks. That's kind of the only way it works. So yeah, that's the way to get Solana going.
Awesome. I wonder who asked that question, because maybe
That's
there's a
Mark
specific
Andre, probably.
Marc Andre. Yeah, because it
That's
is
me.
similar writing. So maybe you want to share a bit more context about like what you're thinking there about like I guess you're looking to use Firehose with Solana. So maybe
Yeah, well, question, well, because I see, yeah, sorry about that. So I see that, yeah, there's a plan to the CIP and bring Solana to Graph, and as far as I know, the only way to do that is with Firehose. And as far as I know, it's impossible to sync permissionlessly, so we need someone to give access. So yeah, that was type of answer I was expecting. So probably Pinax and Streaming Fast would need to share their file or something and make it available to other indexers. I'm not sure if there's a plan that was made for that yet, but yeah, as we approach some Solana support, I just want to make sure that it's going to be clear.
Yeah, so I can't comment on the CIP. That's the PACAs to or Kate to comment on that. Okay, that she just posted. Solana's removed.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had shared that in here. It's been paused. It's no longer a part of this broader deprecation plan. In terms of Solana and Near were initially part of the next batch. And I think I did announce that, but I do want to clarify that that had been paused on that. So the only remaining chains, at least on this plan at this point, are Ethereum Sepolia and Chapel Sepolia, which have POI divergences that we are currently investigating. So I apologize if that wasn't clear. Solana and Near have been paused permanently at this point. And it's reflected here in the plan. So I apologize if that wasn't clear there.
Yeah, okay, so it's a pause permanently, so it's we'll never reconsider it, or maybe it's just a matter of months, of maybe years, because I mean that's a pretty big chain to
It is a pretty big chain. I don't feel that I'm at liberty to totally comment. I'm not the axis of definitively, but I would say at this point it doesn't look like we have plans for it for the CIP foreseeably at this time. It was one that we had included, and we're trying to figure out where to go with that. We can perhaps talk about it a little more in the coming weeks. It kind of folds into some of the changes happening with the CIP, but I don't feel like I'm the person that can say definitively if something is never or is absolutely, yeah, basically don't take it from me that it's like an absolute, but I can say that it was removed from this plan and is paused at this point for the foreseeable future, in as far as I do know at this point. So I know that's not like the definitive answer to be satisfactory, but is that at least helpful? And I apologize if I wasn't clear about that update.
Yeah, well, that's useful. So yeah, we'll pause the Firehose discussion on that topic then.
Yeah, and as well, similar with Near, that was another thing that was being deliberated on, and we did remove it from this current iteration at this point. But I think that we'll have some more clarity around the definitiveness of a lot of these things as well. It looks like Mickey's weighing in as well. She may be able to be more definitive than me. But I hope that's helpful, or at least for the time being.
I'll just come off mute. It's too much to type. So yeah, thanks, Kate. I appreciate you kind of giving an update there. So I guess a question, Were we originally pursuing rewards on Solana and Near so that indexers supporting SPS subgraphs, stream powered subgraphs, would get rewards? Is that kind of what driver was in the first place for pursuing CIP?
I believe so at the time that this was made. I don't think there was any definitive, like, at the time that this plan was made, yes, I think so. I think that must have been the thinking there.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because maybe I'm missing something obvious, which could very much be the case, but I feel like that would be the only way to get rewards. And since some of you may have seen emails going out to users within the last couple days, we are deprecating SPS support globally, and those users will migrate to substreams proper. So I think it kind of makes rewards on chains like Solana and Near kind of irrelevant. So that could be one of the main drivers why rewards are not being pursued on those chains. And then as we work out, what does it mean for rewards to be enabled for substreams and how do indexers get involved there? I think that's kind of the broader sort of strategy.
Thank you, Mickey. Yes, you're saying it in a way that I think, yes, is more clear. Thanks for that.
Okay, so we'll need for Solana Pharaohs. Okay, thank you.
There you go. That's great. Well, I'm glad that these updates are being communicated here in IOH. This is what this is all about. So, yeah, appreciate everyone for weighing in there and providing some clarity. I mean, now that the conversation is kind of like widened a little bit, we can also just veer into any sort of topic that people are keen to talk about outside of Firehose. Of course, if there are further Firehose questions, this is also still a great place to cover off those topics there. But yeah, do any folks have any thoughts? I see Mickey's typing. Mickey, if you want to add some more context, feel free to hold on mic. Maybe we could do an IOH session of what it means for indexes to have rewards enabled on substreams. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you're getting a lot of upvotes there in the way of emojis. So yeah, I will follow up with you on that there. Who do you think could be a good person to cover off that? Would that be yourself, or do you have anyone in mind as it relates to that? Someone from Stringy Fast. Okay, great. Well, yeah, I will do this right now. I will grab this, pop this into my task management system, follow up with Streaming Fast, you said? Yeah, Streaming Fast. I'd like to learn what this means myself. Me too. This is someone from Spring Fast. That's funny, Josh. Do you have any context there, Josh? Seeing as I wouldn't be the right person. Do you know who could be the right person within Spring Fast? So I can follow up appropriately. Giuliano. Giuliano. Oh fuck. Oh, sorry. Giuliano. Giuliano or Borget. Borget, I know how to pronounce. I think I pronounced that correctly. Giuliani. I think it's Italian, right? Is that correct? Giuliano. Okay, there you go. Thanks, Billy. Billy to the rescue. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, so I'll follow up with either or those guys from Streamfast. From Streaming Fast as it relates to. I feel like with these things you got to write them down straight away, otherwise yeah, good point. Sorry, I'm terrible. I know I'm really bad with pronouncing names. It's bad. Okay, so that's in my task management system, which is going to get followed up on. Giphy Italian. It is Italian, right? Is that true? I hope I'm getting that correct. It is, yeah, that makes sense. Forgive me for the mispronunciation. I right there in line with my with the way that things normally go down. Okay. So I've popped that there in the task management system. I'll follow up to get that sorted. Seems like there's some nice uptake from people as relates to that topic. As we come into the final 5 minutes of IOH, folks, feel free to fire away with any questions, thoughts on, of course, Firehose, but then anything as it relates to, any broader topic. I just want to highlight everyone. I just want to bring everyone's attention to the POAP secret word, which has been shared by Pili in the chat. So if you guys want to get your POAPs, do that. It's right there. It's obviously always in the agenda, but it's nice when Pili or someone else posts. Okay, this is cool. Earn every second superfluid. What is this? I'm aware of superfluid, but okay, nice. So that was just a reposting of the secret word. Thank you, Pete. Yeah, we do like superfluid. Oh no. That's a great gift. I hope I'm not ruffling any feathers there. Oh, I'm a dead man walking. Oh no. That's a great meme. You guys are quick. How do you do it? I'm very curious. There must be some meme making software. Like, please, someone enlighten me, because I want to be his image flip. Okay. And how does it work? Do you does it give you the picture, or do you find the picture and then it gives you the ability to write on the picture? How does it work? Templates. Okay. That's why you guys are so fast. So the templates there, you find the right template, or you can bring your own, and then you write the words as it relates to the joke. Okay. That makes so much sense, because a lot of people are really fast with these GIFs and these memes. And I'm always like, how do you do it so quickly? I love that. Oh no. Oh, Matthew, don't do that. Don't bring up this can of worms. GIF? I pronounce it GIF, but I don't want to ruffle any feathers there in case other people pronounce it. Do you pronounce it GIF? Memeing 101, exactly. I'm a bit of a boomer. No comment. I feel like that's a very contentious one. I say GIF, but gig. What? Oh, GIF. Okay, GIF makes more sense. I refuse to change. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think it's pretty. Yeah, exactly. I think it's GIF. Okay, well, it seems like folks are circling on this stuff. Oh, several people typing. Okay, this is derailing. Okay, all right. We'll take this opportunity to wrap today's conversation. What about all of oh no. I feel like this is a recurring theme in IOH about pronunciation. I mean, it's important. You want to pronounce things correctly, but some things are very contentious, and there's no consensus on how to pronounce them correctly. So, okay. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining today's Index Office Hours. This was great. We had various discussions. Obviously, Joseph is no longer here, but very grateful to him for taking the first part of IOH, and also grateful to Matthew for taking the second part, and every one of you for contributing as well. So we look forward to seeing you all again at the same time next week for another edition of Index Office Hours. Take care, everyone. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.